the punch was to come, this is one alphabet, this is another, and that's another. And when you use one hand, you then make a word motion. But as you notice, this one hand is my variable throughout. My left hand was used no more than a constant. But now, let's make a word off of it and see what happens. So if this right hand makes a word, and the left hand also makes a word along with the foot, then we now compose a sentence of motion. And so that's basically how the arts can be developed. Secondly, I think it's very important that many of us realize that simple everyday things or gestures can really aid and help us. When we're involved in trouble, we step back. Likewise, when a punch is thrown, we normally see this type of thing where the person stays in place, puts his arms up. I agree with you, the face does not get injured, but the elbow gets broken. So, the fist was to come, drop back. If not, say hello to Sue. Or, if not, tie your shoelace. At least make distance become a personal friend of yours. Naturally, on occasion, you have to let his action trigger your movements. Like, for instance, if he was pushing with his right hand to my left shoulder, my action now naturally would be to draw back. If this be the case, his action would trigger that action. So he would be an assistant to your efforts. And that's what you call borrowing his force to aid and help him to defeat himself. Now, a little while ago I mentioned the fact that our system entails two concepts, that of linear and that of circular. Now here's a concept that must be remembered, and that is, when a punch comes, this punch normally has to be deviated so that it does not follow the same course. Like a gun, I'm not afraid of a gun, I'm afraid of the bullet that it contains. But when resistance comes and you have a circular motion which stops, it's hard for you to continue the motion to go into another circle. So the concept here is, when the circle ends, linear begins, and when the linear ends, circle reappears again. So that's a combination of both linear and circular. Now, also, you learn in time to economize on the movements. Whereby, if this motion, which is part of a circle, was utilized at this portion of the arm, it would be considered a strict defense. But if you extend your motions or your movements and make it a wider circle, then you can use that circle to break the bridge of the nose as well as hit the arm. So you build a defense to an offense, and in this case, it's an offense into a defense. Now, can the reverse hold true? It certainly can. If I am punching and shoot over the guard, this is right unto a big circle. If I condense the circle and start it from here to make a smaller circle, I then can build my defense into my offense. And so this, really, the art is very fascinating, it's interesting, and above all, it's simple.